Konnichiwa, bonjour, privet, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10 and it's a Friday. Many of you will know it's my favorite day of the week, the anticipation of the weekend, the best day to get people out viewing for houses. Why? Because they're planning their weekend, they're wondering what houses to view, and we've got to make sure that our clients' houses are under their nose. And we work very hard at doing that by hitting the phones and make sure we're reaching everybody, sending everybody emails, and making sure that if they're out there viewing, we're having those discussions which make sure they view with us. How are you? I hope you're well. Here in Norbury, it's kind of a nice day, a little bit cooler, but the sun is out, a few clouds around, blue sky, the perfect day for viewing houses, which is fantastic. Just on the news today, a few things. Rents soar to the highest point in history is a headline today in the Express. And they're saying the 12 months to June, the largest annual growth rate seen since the ONS records began. And according to the HRP, rental prices grew by 2.9% in England, 1.9% in Wales, and 3.5% in Scotland, while London saw lower growth at 1.7%. I must say we're seeing London growth much higher than that, and it just goes to show how these figures can vary so much. House prices are now almost 9 times the average income. Many of you will know, not financial advice, but lenders work on the basis of 4.5 times income, and yet the average house price is 9 times income. Wow, that is some multiple. Over a third of house prices fell through last year, and this is an interesting statistic for me because we find that we have a much smaller fall through ratio. Now, I think that's a lot to do with how careful you are in tying up the deal in the first place. One of the first things we do when we're looking at a sale is research it thoroughly. We had one recently where a lovely lady put in an offer through us. We wanted to work with her. She wanted to work with us. And then when we actually researched her chain, we found out that her buyer had fallen through. Well, in fact, her buyer's buyer had fallen through, but her agent hadn't told her. Poor lady. And she was lovely. So, we took no pleasure in saying, look, really sorry, but you're not in a position to go forward with this purchase as much as we want to work with you. And she was lovely about it. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't know. It shouldn't be coming from you. I should already know this. And that's the point, really, is that if you're not researching thoroughly the sales, then you have a greater risk of them falling through. A good agent is there to make sure not only that you get to the point of sale, but also that when you're there, things are done correctly. And that means proving the deposit, where it came from, what it is, physically seeing the cash, seeing the bank statement to make sure that the money's there, understanding where it came from. If there's a chain, checking the chain, every single link in that chain. Even if it's a private buyer, you want some sort of substantiation that the buyer's there through their solicitors or the actual seller. You need some kind of way of checking these things, because often when you're selling a property and people love it and want it, they will tell you what you want to hear. They'll say, yes, I'm under offer. And it's a lie. I know. So, you think, well, why would people lie? They lie because they want your house desperately. And therefore, you find yourself in a situation where people say, well, anyway, my agent, and this is the line a lot of people say all the time, if I had a pound for every time I heard this one, my agent tells me it'll go straight away. I would never tell someone their house would go straight away, because you never know. But agents will say this, and at the same time, whilst giving that lie, the second lie they'll give is an overvaluation of 10 to 30%. And then what happens is that seller genuinely and understandably thinks as soon as their house hits the market, bang, it's sold straight away. But of course, their price is so out of kilter with the real prices in the area, because the agents lied in 2 different areas, that actually they're not going to sell quickly and they're not going to sell at the price. And that's why, as an agent trying to look after our clients' interests, we need to understand what's being sold, if it's under offer, and if it's not, then really we can't advise our client to take their property off the market. Why should our client, who's priced correctly and being marketed correctly, hold on their marketing to allow someone else to sell theirs where the price might not be correct and the house is not under offer? Because actually, you've both got a house to sell. Why would you wait for someone else? The answer is you shouldn't. You should get the offer from someone that is in a position to move you forward. So if you're a seller and you're looking, but you haven't sold yet, I'd suggest you stop looking, get under offer, and then start looking. Because other than that, you'll find you go around in this circle. Found what I want, and then somebody will beat you to it because they're under offer, you're not. This will happen again and again. Life's too short for all that. Is the system perfect? No, absolutely not. It's not perfect. There is a chance that you'll sell your house and you can't find. But as long as you're transparent with your buyers, hey, look, we're all human. You just say, look, cards on the table. We are in a chain, and you shouldn't be scared of that. You really shouldn't be scared of saying that. Too many people are scared of saying we're in a chain. And I know why, because there always seems to be these cash buyers everywhere. Trust me, they're not. Most people are selling a property in order to buy another one, especially in the middle and the higher markets. And therefore, you need to own that. And in that respect, they'll be in the same position with their buyers quite often, where they're waiting for them to find, and then they have to wait for you to find. And is there a chance it all goes wrong along the way? Well, according to the statistics, over a third of property purchases fell through in the last year. So the answer is yes. But if your agent's careful and if they research it thoroughly, that third can be reduced to as little as 5%, if that. So important to get your agent right, because your agent will guide you through the maze to select the right buyer to end up with someone that's actually going to go through with the sale. It's not all about the top line, what's the money. It's actually about the ability of the buyer to go forward with the purchase as well. So important, often overlooked. Quite often with sellers, it's like, well, where's the money? And we go one step further and say, actually, the money is X, but more than that, the buyer's position is Y. And that's what we really need to focus on, is that buyer capable, able and willing to proceed at the pace that suits our seller. And if that buyer comes along and says, well, this is in a chain, I don't want it, that's okay. You have to say, well, then this is not the house for you. My clients have to find somewhere. And we're okay with that. We will defend our clients with that all day long, because we know that's the best thing for the majority of our clients. The other problem, a lot of people, I had this discussion just yesterday with a client. They said, well, we can go out and rent in the new area we're looking to buy in. And I said, yeah, that's great. But what about this? You've sold, locked down your price, and then you buy in a year's time. Prices are now 10% higher because you're not in a chain. You're now locked at that price, the new price, and you're locked at the old price as well. So you've just lost 10%. If you're in the market, then things will go up in a line together, generally speaking. So that's why a chain is an effective way forward. And the second thing is, rents are expensive. Landlords don't want short-term tenants. There's hardly any supply anyway. You'll probably end up in a place that A, isn't as comfortable as the one you're currently living in, B, costs you a fortune in removals, and C, wants a longer contract than you want to give, and actually D, is far more expensive. You'll be surprised at the rents now. They're through the roof. So my advice is, if you're in a position where you have to find, then make sure, number one, you get your house on the market first. But of course, before you do that, you need to do research to make sure the move is doable. Does it financially work for you? Is that area that you want to move to affordable to you? So you start by research, get your valuations in, get an idea realistically and truthfully of what you're worth. That's really important. Once you've done that, start the research in the area you're looking in. And once you've done that and it looks doable, that's when the exciting bit comes in. You need to get your house under offer, and then even better, fall a little bit out of love with your house and fall in love with a new one and tie the whole thing together. And as an agent, we look to help you with that as well, both not just the buying of the selling of the house, but also the buying as well. Sometimes people employ us just to find properties for them and pay us a fee for doing that. But for our sellers, we use it as a free service to add value to that part of the transaction. So if you're looking as well as selling, we will help you both sides of the transaction, even giving you an opinion on the one you're selling, giving you a full comprehensive report on the one that you're buying, and even negotiating the price on the one that you're buying if you want us to. And if you don't want us to, also fine, but we'll certainly give you an opinion as to whether we think the purchase you're making is a prudent one. So I hope that's helpful today, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thanks for watching as always. The podcast is out. Look out for it on your provider, Spotify. Just look up Ken Humes Podcast or the Property Buyer and Sellers Podcast. Have a fantastic weekend. Look after yourselves, and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.